A very warm welcome to one and all. So let's start our webinar. So I take this opportunity to introduce who we are, which organization do we belong to. My name is Surabhi and I will be conducting today's session. And I belong to Heartfulness and Brighter Minds. Heartfulness is present in 160 countries and we are basically into relaxation, meditation, related researches and training programs. Brighter Minds is a neuroscientific part of Heartfulness in which through different studies in the field of neuroscience, through different researches in the neuroscience, we are working with children, adults, youth in different age groups. What is the purpose of Brighter Minds? The purpose is to enhance cognitive skills in one and all. Even in children, in youth, in adults, different concerns are there. So, based on that, we, work with children, youth, and adults. For children, there are 7 cognitive foundation elements through which we are working. So how to improve their focus, how to improve their emotional resilience, how to make them better intuitive, how to improve their observation, how to improve their comprehension, confidence, and then thinking from different perspective, creativity part. So all these cognitive abilities are basically enhanced in children through Brighter Minds. Heartfulness, anyone can practice. Meditation techniques can be practiced above age 15 years. So anyone who is 15 or above years of age can practice heartfulness meditation techniques. There are various other techniques like relaxation techniques which can be practiced by children as well. So I welcome you all in this webinar. The topic of today's webinar is dreams need coaching. So let us understand how. So first thing that I want to share with you is that today I'm not talking to you as expert. Today I'm talking to you as someone who is really, really interested in understanding how we can get better at whatever we are doing. We all are doing. How we can be better version of ourselves. Our today should be better than our yesterday. And our tomorrow should be better than our today. So are we actually making efforts in that direction? Are we actually thinking in that direction? How good we are matters, but how good you are going to be, that matters more, that really matters. So a fundamental question is, how do we get better at what we do? How do we keep getting better every day that we do, at everything that we do? So there are 2 approaches. One is traditional pedagogical view. We all know we go to school, we learn things and then study there, make our own way in life, and then we learn by ourselves. So that is one way. It works. Yes, for many people it works. And you would be thinking that, in earlier generation and in this generation, it has been working. But the important point through this pedagogical view is whether we are able to inculcate habit in children for thinking, learning, observation, and interest. If we are able to create interest and observation in children, then they will be able to do something at their own as well. But we will analyze it in more detail and understand it in more detail. Second view, that is contrasting view, comes from sports. In sports, they say you are never done. And everybody needs a coach. In sports, without fail, everyone hires a coach. They say the greatest in the world needs a coach. Even the greatest in the world needs a coach. Now, from where this idea came, right? Because we think that expertise means not needing to be coached, isn't it? So from where this idea has come, let us analyze this. So this coaching in sports, that is actually an American idea. And in 1875, basically, I'll show you this picture. You would, try to understand something. So in 1875, Harvard and Yale, they played one of the very first American rules football game. And here, Yale hired a head coach and Harvard did not. The result? The result was over the next 3 decades, Harvard won just 4 times, and ultimately Harvard hired a coach, and it became the way that sports work, everyone hires a coach if you want to get better at it because it's very competitive, right? I have been thinking, as a cognitive coach, my job is to keep thinking, keep working with children and give them something new, something different, something very good every day, right? So I have been thinking about it. Does this transfer to other fields as well? So I want you also to observe, make a note of it, and I want you to put in the chat box. What do you think? Does it apply to other fields as well? We all know in sports, it works. So I need your answers in the chat box. Does it work in other fields as well? Do we need coach in other fields as well? My question is this. And without fail, I'm getting all the answers in yes, that yes, we need a coach. We need someone who can guide us, who can give us feedback, constructive feedback, who can help us becoming better version of ourselves every day. Yes. Because if we are trying to do things just at our own, without any help, without any coaching, without any guidance. So first thing, we should be capable enough to recognize all the issues that are standing in our way. And second thing is when we observe, can we fix the concerns that we observe on the way? So it works, it might work, why not? But yes, it will take a lot of time, it will take a lot of energy into just small things, which can be fixed very fast, when we have a coach, when we have someone who can help us in understanding. So I observed in my life as well. And since I shared with you that today I'm not talking to you as an expert and I'm talking to you as one of you, because we are in this platform to discuss with each other, to understand from each other and then learn from each other. In last webinar, I shared that we want to build this community of learning together, sharing best practices, right? So yes, and you are also helping me in giving your feedback, through giving your feedback in chat box. Thanks a lot for that, So small things matter, and I have been thinking about it. I have been observing my life, and then I've been thinking about this question for quite some time. So I would like to share with you, one of the incidents in my life. This is a pic of my mother. And I was just thinking, does it really apply to me as well? And what all is there in my life? And this story came to me, this story happened to me when I was 5 years old, 40 years ago. So this story happened to me 40 years ago when I was 5 years old. It was next day of my birthday. And, my birthday was on 17th April. And, like all other kids, I was also having new dress. It was nylon frock. And since I really loved the dress, it was pink color, my favorite. So I slept in that dress only, I still remember I slept in that dress. And in the morning when I was brushing my teeth, my father was a professor. He was doing something, some experiment, and he called me. So the experiment was, color was to change. There was some liquid inside that, and its color was to change from blue to red. And he called me. My, name is Gunjan at home. He called me that just see whether it has changed color or not. And the moment I reached there, the moment I was with him, I don't know how, but his hand shook like that. And that spirit came on me, and even the fire, and I was jumping in the fire. And it was really, I still remember that scene, how it was. I was jumping in that fire, and still I'm, able to recollect everything. And my mother ran. She was in the kitchen, and I was shouting. My father also started shouting, and my mother ran. And she brought a blanket and covered me. And then, all the neighbors were also called, and that is how I was took to the hospital. In hospital, after some treatment, doctor said that, burn is a lot. I still have that burn in my legs. And I was more than, 70% burn. So doctor said this girl won't be able to walk. Chal nahi paegi. Why? Because the only way to walk is she should exercise in this situation. But girl is small, 5 years old only, and it's very painful in exercising in this, situation, and it's not possible for her, I think. So she won't be able to walk. So my mother asked, but there has to be some way, So she was a meditator with heartfulness, and I'm very proud to share this. So she said, but there has to be some way. Doctor said the only way is she needs to exercise. And it's not possible because girl is very small. So you think about it. So my mother spent a day thinking, and then she came to me and said, you have two choices. You, me, all of us give up. Second, we exercise our power of mind. If we think we can, we will be able to do it. And I was small, I was 5 years, 5 years is not the age to think, right? She said, I leave this decision to you. I leave this decision to you. You decide which way should we go. Should we give up or should we give it a try? Because it will be painful, but I am with you. And my guarantee, my assurance, if you try, if you think you can, you will be able to do it. अगर तुम सोचते हो कि तुम कर पाओगे, तो तुम कर पाओगे. हम कोशिश करेंगे. And she was very convincing, the way she was talking to me and the way she was having that conviction in her eyes, in her heart. I was really convinced कि हाँ काम करेगा, I'll do that. I said, yes, we'll try. Will not give up. And then we kept trying for 2 years. We kept exercising. It was painful. We used to cry. We used to shout together. And then she was also crying with me. But both of us, even my father, all of us, the whole family, we used to do that exercise and, what all. It was really painful, but we didn't give up and we tried. For 2 years, after 2 years, I started walking with walker, and slowly, I started walking. And then some months again passed, and then I joined school. In school, I was a runner before actually this whole episode. I was a runner. Then in school again, one 50-meter race was going to happen. So my mother said, you should participate. So it was, very difficult for me, but I said, okay, if you say so. So in that race, I participated. I came last, of course, but I completed my race. And it was really a proud moment for me and my family. And we cried, we laughed because we could complete. And even my principal, my teachers, they all were very happy, and they gave me special certificate for that. And then with that certificate, we went to doctor and showed him, and he said, it's not possible. This is not the same girl, this is some other girl. So there I learned, through that incidents, and then, few other things that my mother taught me. I learned that there is infinite power in the mind and brain, And she was with me for next 12 years only, because when I was 17, she left for her heavenly abode. But through that small period of time, I learned that, yes, power of brain and mind is, infinite. And when I was 15, I was very keen to join this meditation program, heartfulness meditation program, because I learned that, this is the source of some strength. There is something in this. So I also started meditating. There I learned how powerful our mind is. If we think we can, we are able to do it. If अगर हम सोचते हैं कि हम कर पाएंगे और हम will power के साथ try करते हैं, then possibility is infinite. And then I chose the same field because it gave me life. This thinking, this strength gave me life. So I thought that why not? Why my mother also encouraged me that something which has given life to us, we should give back to society. And then we decided that okay. So when I was 15, 16, then I started doing open houses, sharing people about it, how potential this technique is, and all that. And then from there I became interested in this field. And then slowly I learned through years that basically it is functional training of mind. In circus, these guys do it. They tie elephant with iron rope with very strong something, and then a small elephant tries. An elephant is not able to do that. So if this small elephant becomes a big elephant, you tie with a small rope with plastic chair, that elephant doesn't try at all. Why? Because functional training is there in the mind, it's not possible, right? So I learned that it's all about functional training of mind. And I also learned that whether consciously or unintentionally, we are all the time training our children as parents, as teachers, all the time. We are giving some input to our children because children learn through observation. Values are caught, not taught. So then slowly, that journey was proceeding with me. So that is where I started thinking about it more deeply. And later I started my journey with Brighter Minds, and I learned that yes, in neuroscience also they say that infinite possibility of learning is there because 100 billion neurons are there in everyone's brain, and everyone is equally capable. If proper training of mind is done, if proper cognitive training of person is done, infinite is the possibility. Okay. So I just want to share with you that yes, everyone needs coaching, but all the time as parents, as teachers, how we coach children, because this is a whole lot of science behind it now, called epigenetics. Whatever environment we create outside, basically that creates an environment inside. So according to Brighter Minds pedagogy, love, positivity, joy, that is basically the base, that gives child that strength to, be very, very, focused in the direction our child wants to move, right? So that is science of learning, There is a book called Biology of Belief. There also they, talk about it, and, they talk about this particular aspect, that how your thoughts, how your, the way you think, the way you believe in yourself changes things. So I want to share this part with you. There is one more book called The Inner Game of Tennis. So I was there in our world headquarters where world's biggest meditation hall is there. Kanha Shantivanam is the place. So there I was discussing with PV Sindhuji, and she visited our Brighter Minds camp there basically, and she was sharing with me that I had the whole series of defeats, and after that series of defeat, when I started believing in myself, because the moment I used to enter the court, I used to think the other person is better than me. But when I started believing in myself that no, I am also good, the other person is good, but I am also good, then my winning streak started. So she shared with me about this book, and then I went through this book. I encourage you all to just go through this book, The Inner Game of Tennis. It says most of the championships are won outside the court, not inside the court. If you think you can, then your body, helps accordingly. But if you lose with your mind, so that is basically important to understand. Then when I came to Brighter Minds, I started cognitive coaching, and then I work with children, youth, and adults. And I started observing my participants, my children, my people, that okay, how things are happening with them, what is happening with them, and I want to share with you a couple of stories so that we can mutually decide whether which way we should train our children, which way, because all the time, as I shared with you, all the time as parents we are doing that, but we should know what way we are doing something, we are saying something, but how children are perceiving, how that training is being done, that is important to understand for us, so that we can help children build on their strengths and address their weaknesses, so that is why this part is important to understand. So I used to think that achievers, performers, they are good, they are already good with brain, they don't need anything, so in when I was in this Brighter Minds only 2 years ago, I got a call from one family. Father called me, and then on phone only he started crying, and he said, "I want to talk to you on something really, really critical. Please listen to me." And I was shocked because it happened to me for the first time. Someone crying on the telephone, unknown to me. The person doesn't know me. He said, "Someone has given your contact for Brighter Minds, and I want to understand this, and I want some help. And it's really needed." I said, "Yes, please, you can share." Then he shared that, he said that, see, I have a boy, and I'm from a middle class family, and I put all my money, my efforts, and I sent my boy for coaching classes in Kota, and my boy, worked really hard. He's a performer, he's achiever, always first or second position holder, and he somehow got into IIT. And I was very happy. I distributed sweets in my neighbors, in my family, because this is the only boy I have, and he achieved that. He get into IIT, so I was really, really happy. And he completed his 3 years, and after 3 years, what happens in IIT, companies, they keep on coming. So he said one of the companies came, and then this boy had one friend and one girlfriend. So friend and girlfriend both got into that company, and then girlfriend, told him that since the other friend and myself, we are in the same company and we gel together, so maybe it will not work with us, And that particular moment when girls said that it will not work with us because we both are, in some different company, the boy was shattered. He thought that if success, makes you like that, I don't want to be successful. And he left IIT immediately and went home. And then he used to tell his father, I don't want to be successful. I don't want to go to IIT again. And if you ask me to go to IIT again, I lying myself. And then father called me. He said, this boy needs help because he is performer, but what should I do now? So it's a long story. So I just shared with you that, every time this mind is very different. So even at any moment of time, we should be building our strength to so much that inner environment should be so strong that whatever comes on the way, so that is basically the importance of cognitive training. That is the importance of mind training for each one of us, so that we can build our strength, not this outer strength, but this inner strength, One more sister came to me in my academy, and she was very sad. She said, I want to, share something with you. I have been to 11 countries, and I tried this with my boy, different medications and everything I tried with my boy. And his concern was focus. The boy was not able to concentrate, not able to focus, So she shared with me that my boy runs all the time, doesn't focus, he never concentrates. And sometimes I also lose my temper and I shout at the kid. So last night my boy started crying, and he said, perhaps you should try some injection and give it to my feet, give it to my legs, because my leg doesn't, my leg doesn't listen to my mind doesn't listen to my leg. My mind says you should not do that, but my, leg keeps running. So I'm not able to focus. I really need help. So that is how that sister came. And then, through Brighter Minds, of course, we tried, to do things with her. And then after it took time, after 6 months of training, she shared with me that, yes, now my boy is able to focus. And one day she called me and said that my boy is chosen as creative head of his school. And she came with sweets and all later. So it was really a joy for us, seeing how things are transforming. Why I'm sharing with you all is, we need to observe, we need to understand, because when we take interest in children, when we understand with whomsoever we are working, even with youth, when we take interest in the person, when we understand, when we try to observe, what is the need of the person, we understand them neuroscientifically, and then we are able to help them, then we are able to do something for them. So personally, when I was working with children, I kept on observing, and that is how there is one more child, this picture you can see. So this child who is standing here, his name is Uday. So when he joined the program, he was small. This is the picture when he completed his course, and 6 years ago he joined. So when he joined, he was very happy child, but he was focused also very good in his studies. But during the program of Brighter Minds, his parents shared with me something very unique, something very different. They shared with me that this boy has started drawing, and that drawing was in some special way, some unique way. And when they checked through Google Lens, you can check now. So when they checked it, it was some Japanese art that boy was doing. So they shared with me, and then we shared with our team, and then they shared with us that this is very different work. This is very, this work is very in, because nowadays they use cartoons and animations and all. In that, this work is in demand. So this boy can actually keep exploring this direction. So Uday actually then he started in this direction, and now he's in USA, and his family also is in USA, and he has joined the career. Now he's in his degree. He might be here somewhere. So now he's doing his degree, but he chose that field, but he didn't know. So potential is infinite. Sometimes we need to understand how to unleash that potential. That is the job of coaching, As parents also, all the time we are coaching our children. So how to do that? But it's also important to, take help from other people, because sometimes as parents, as mother, as father and child, if we get some external support, some external help, then things become very different, because it's a triangle: child, coach and parents. When all of them work together, then that thing is beautiful. So potential of mind is infinite. I think you all have seen the video by KBC. If you have seen, you can write yes. So video by, in which Vanshi Chauhan is a girl who, demonstrated her skills. And I keep on getting calls from people, is it possible for each and every child, So yes, so each and every child has that potential, This point is important to understand. Sometimes we think that, hey, that child is specially gifted, that child may be more intelligent. And as parents, sometimes we compare also, that, the other child is more intelligent, the other child is getting more things. Okay, so Hamsika ji is sharing no. Okay, Sudhaji is sharing watched KBC. Okay. So maybe I'll request my team to send you video so that you can just see, you can just watch. So when you watch that, you understand that, okay, potential of mind is infinite. But then we also start thinking, can every child do that? Yes. Neuroscience says 100 billion neurons in everyone's brain. So if you work correctly, infinite is the potential with every child, every youth, and every adult. It's a big statement that I'm making, because we think that, okay, once we cross 40, 45, age goes for learning. No. That is why Brighter Minds Restart program emphasizes on this cognitive wellness. Neuroplasticity happens throughout life. It is true that neuroplasticity in children is more than neuroplasticity in adults. That is true. But even adults can do things. If you think you can, you will be able to do it, right? Even adults can do that. And I have seen people, believe me, personally, I have trained people, and I have seen people, even at the age of 69, person can do something which was really amazing. I mean, if I really call that person and you meet that person, you will say, oh my God, how is it possible? You know, so infinite is the potential at any age. We should never give up. You know? We should never think that, okay, now 40 crossed, it's okay. The way is set, the life is set. No, keep learning, keep moving. Even then you should have a coach. Even then you should try meditation. You know, why not? And then, you know, try to do something, try to explore something with you and see how it goes. You know, life is all about experience. So some people also call me and ask me, you know, is Brighter Mind working online or in person, which is better? Is online works better, or is offline work better? I mean, what is working in a better way? So I want to share something with you. Allow me to share that thing, and then I leave you to decide, you know. So all of us know Joshua Pollock-G, perhaps. Joshua Pollock-G is an author of the book, The Heartfulness Way. So I trained his 2 children, and that is where he was sharing his experience with me, and our team recorded this experience. I want you also to listen to this experience.
There's no methodology that can ever be separated from the person who's giving you that methodology, the person who's supporting you and helping you learn, the teacher, the facilitator. That's, you know, the two go together, you know, the method and the person who gives you the method. And that's the beauty, I think, of Brighter Minds. That, you know, what I find when I send my children here is, you know, last night, for instance, last night, my mother came and picked up my kids, and she was so impressed because, you know, my daughter is a perfectionist, and she can easily get upset if she isn't able to do something really well pretty quickly. Then she becomes very frustrated and sometimes doesn't want to do it. And I guess she was having trouble with something, and she had maybe a tear or two in her eyes. And so my mother said that the facilitator just gave her a hug and said, does God want you to be sad? And we are all here to help you, you know. And those 2 statements, that does God want you to be sad and we're here to help you, just changed everything. And, you know, and my mother witnessed really for the first time is that this perfectionism and I can't do this was completely just evaporated in that one statement. And all of a sudden she was light and encouraged to keep going in a joyful way, and with, you know, the courage and the joy that you need to do something new and to do something challenging. And that was just so, the facilitators are really loving, and I really appreciate that. As much as I appreciate the program itself, I think the facilitators have been trained to deliver it in such a human way, with such a human touch, that I think that it's worth it just for that, to be around such influences. And so I'm grateful for that.
Just give me a minute. So now I want to know, for whom are you joining this webinar? Are you joining this webinar for yourself, for your children, And if yes, if for children, then, what age group? So I want you to quickly write in the chat box. So most of the people, I guess, are joining for children. But I again insist, at every age we need help. At every age we need, person who can really work with us hand in hand. So Reet Wafna says, I'm a kid and this is a kid whom I trained for Brighter Minds, I guess. Yes, Reet? So my question to you is, because many parents ask us, does online work better or offline work better? Now we need to understand, this is mind, right? This is mind training, cognitive training. The way you inspire children, the way you make it joyful, the make you train and make this training really loving, joyful, create that atmosphere within, that basically impacts. Offline and online doesn't matter, especially in Brighter Minds program, because this is mind training, this is cognitive training program. So I have seen children, in online and in person both. Impact of the program remains same if facilitator is able to create that joyful and loving environment, and that is important to understand. So this works in both ways. As parents, what support we can do is also important to understand, because as parents, we always share in our orientation sessions, as parents, love, joy, positivity works. Sometimes parents even ask us that if child is not listening at all, do you want us to love them anyway, and then just keep being very subtle. You can be strict with your same pitch voice, don't raise your voice, talk to your children, make them understand, because children are wired differently. I have shared in previous webinar that children are wired very differently. In their brain, consequential thinking is not that developed, right? Consequential thinking means if I do this, this will be consequence. If I do this, this will happen. That is not very much developed in children. In children, what works? Joyful thing. Don't doesn't work. If you say don't do it, then they will be curious, because they have that sense of wonder in their eyes. They will be curious, right? And then they will try for sure. But if you divert them, and then do, instead of trying this, let's try this, that works. Sense of wonder in them, basically, if you introduce something in a joyful way, that works. So you need to talk to children. I'm not saying that you should compromise on your values, no, never. But do it in a way that is joyful, that is collaborative. Suppose you are making some schedule for them, make it collaborative, talk to them, ask them what do you want to put, and then make them understand through stories, through different role plays. That works basically. So since we have discussed about power of mind, power of brain, I want you to experience this practical technique. I'll be walking you through one technique. You just try to feel it in your heart, and then maybe you can give us, feedback. So 1 minute, I'll take one question here. Sachin Ji is asking, what are the contents and advantages involved in Advanced Brighter Minds course? Yes, so Advanced Brighter Minds course is called Alpha Plus, and you already know advantages of Alpha, it seems. So at Alpha Plus take children to the next step, to a lot much deeper. And it's very, 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 very useful program for children to learn problem solving ability. This is investment on their own life, because once those skills develop, those skills remain with them for entire life, because structural and functional changes are there in the brain. For the whole life, they will reap benefit. And that is why it's investment on their own life. You are gifting this so that they can have that help throughout life. And you will realize it later that, you will never regret when you do Alpha or Alpha Plus programs of Brighter Minds, you will never regret it. For more details, Sachinji, you can connect with us. You can share your number and our team can, connect back to you. So let us experience this practical technique. I'll be walking you through. You just need to, be relaxed and try to feel whatever I'm going to, give you. Just relax yourself. So how many of you are used to of doing nothing? We all are used to of doing something, right? Active people. So here we are going to do nothing. Okay. So you just relax like this. Close your eyes. If you are wearing spectacles, you can remove that because anyway your eyes will be closed, so you won't be able to see. So just close your eyes and try to feel whatever I'm going to say. Try to feel deep in your heart. Feel that you have reached your heart. And your heart is filled with love, joy, positivity, and peace. Try to feel it deep in your heart. That your heart is filled with love, joy, peace, and positivity. You are a very focused person. Try to feel it deep in your heart that you are really, really focused person. You are a very good human being. You understand your own emotions, you understand yourself, your own self, and also others. Try to feel it deep in your heart that you understand others. And you give priority to their feelings. You are very pure and divine at heart. Whatever you do with your whole heart, your full heart, and that's how you excel in it. Feel deeply connected with the excellence, joy, and love of your heart. Feel that God Himself is present in your heart as your guide, biggest supporter, friend, and mentor. He is the real coach inside you who always will guide you in every situation. Feel deeply connected with your heart. Feel that you are very courageous and a loving person. While you excel in everything that you do, you also take others with you. You also help others. Since God Himself is present in your own heart, you can do anything and everything in this world. You can address any situation in life. Feel it deeply in your heart. Feel yourself completely relaxed and connected to divinity of your heart. Feel that everyone around you, everything around you, even particles, curtains, everything and everyone approach to life. And we all are in complete osmosis with divinity and purity of our heart. Try to get absorbed in the love and divinity of your heart. Try to dive deeper into purity of your heart, love of your heart. Feel that there is divine light in your heart, which is attracting your attention inwards. And you are deeply connected and one with it. Now, slowly and gently, bring awareness to the present moment. Wiggle your toes and open your eyes very softly and gently with a big and beautiful smile. Just try to observe yourself. Close your eyes again and try to observe how you are feeling. Try to observe your feelings. Then slowly and gently open your eyes. And you can record your observation in the chat box, how you felt. So you can note down in the chat box, how did you feel? It is called conscious training of your subconscious mind. So you can, because many of you are joining for your children, so you can do this at night before sleep. You can do one more thing. Just note down all the concerns that you want to work on. Note down all the concerns that you want to address, and then associate positive suggestion related to that concern. Okay. And then at night, you can hold hands like this, hold hand of child like this. And then you close your eyes and let your child also sit with eyes closed. And you give all these positive suggestions, positive affirmations to child. And you give me feedback after 15 days of doing it. I hope you have my mail ID. I'm writing my mail ID in the chat box. I repeat the technique. whatever you want to address, whatever concern you want to address, just note down first. Okay, note down all the concerns that you want to address in yourself and also in your child, because concern of one is concern of all, isn't it? So you note down all the concerns and then associate positive affirmation, positive suggestion related to that. For example, if you feel that, okay, child needs more focus, child is not focused, you can say that we all are very focused. Just try this positive suggestion, positive affirmation technique at night before sleep, because it helps to, guide subconscious mind. And when subconscious mind is trained, it is, subconscious mind can train active mind, and that is how, things improve. And whenever we sleep, last thought before sleep remains in our mind the whole night. So that is how this will work. You can try it. This is experiential technique, and try it for 15 days, and then you can send me the feedback. We can work together. As I shared with you, Brighter Minds facilitator or cognitive coach, parents and children. This triangle is important. This triangle is something which is important for child. So now Anurag ji is writing, I slept. Congratulations. So now I open the forum for any questions that you might be having. You can write in the chat box if you have any questions for me. Or you can raise your hand, I can give you a spotlight. So we have to try consciously for us and for our children. Remember, we all have a coach inside us. That is why in Brighter Minds, we work on intuition, because inner tuition, inner guidance is something which is really, really important. Wherever I go, if I'm, able to access that inner tuition, inner guidance, if I'm able to access that on demand whenever I need it, then it is really a different game altogether. That's why we work on intuition in the Brighter Minds program. So in Brighter Minds program, you might have seen that children can understand colors without seeing, they can read without seeing, they can understand something at distance without seeing, which is in neuroscience called as sensory substitution and augmentation. But the purpose of doing that is to work on their intuition, to work on their focus, observation, so that they get this very important life skill. And you can be assured as parent that wherever my child will go, my child will have that wisdom to decide wisely, clarity of thoughts will be there, and child will be going in the right direction. So I think you don't have questions right now. Take your time. I will request my team to send you recording as well. And then whatever question comes to your mind, feel free to share with us, ask us, and also you can try this technique and send us feedback. And in case you want to discuss any other concern, we are always there. So thank you so much for joining this webinar, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, so so I think webinar is over, but I can take a couple of questions since we have 2-3 minutes. So Ashish Singh ji is asking, is this program for adults too? Yes, Ashish ji, the program is available for adults too. And that program is called Restart, and rewiring of the brain is very, very important, because the way we discuss that subconscious mind is trained, so our subconscious mind is also trained in one direction. That is why you will find that we repeat parenting many a times. Whatever we have learned, we have seen in our parents, we repeat the same way with our children. So it's very important to rewire our brain, because learning doesn't stop. Neuroplasticity happens throughout life. And it is cognitive wellness program, because healthcare needs to be wellness oriented, right? It is illness oriented nowadays. When you become sick, you go to doctor. No, it has to be wellness oriented. You remain so well, so fit, you don't need any doctor, right? So like that. So for the body, we need exercises, but for brain, for mind, we are not very aware, but now neuroscience has taken a quantum leap in last 2 decades. We have various techniques, interventions possible through which we can work on our brains, So that's why if it's important and we all should try it. So Sindhura ji is asking whom to contact. You can share your number, Sindhura ji. We will send you all the details. Kavita ji is writing, would be grateful if this recording is shared. I'll request my team for sure, Kavita ji. Sure, Sudhaji. I'll send you details. So we have, since you are interested in programs and I'm getting many messages, personally also I'm getting messages. So you are writing, please send me details of the program. Sure. I'll request my team to send you details of Alpha and Alpha Plus program for children and also Restart program for adults. I'm writing my mail ID again, just in case you have some query. Many a times we keep working with children and we want to understand things because nowadays nuclear families are there, right? So we don't have a lot of help. So you can write to me anytime for anything. And I will try to address your query, answer your query. If I don't have answer, I'll ask my guide and then I will answer you, but I'll find your answer for sure. Yeah, so YouTube channel details are also shared. You can subscribe YouTube channel and you can get all the recordings and get all the webinar details as well. Next webinar we are going to have on next Saturday from 7 to 8 and it would be on storytelling. It's a very, very powerful way to work on children. And we are still thinking if to have some story for children as well for their functional training of mind. But for sure, children and parents all can join. So next webinar would be next Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. IST. And there we are going to share something about story. Functional storytelling, like functional training of mind is done. So through functional storytelling, you can address on various things. You can address various cognitive skills enhancement things also. So we will be having that storytelling program next Saturday. Avinash ji is asking, do we need to send the email address to get the recording and the details of the program? Yes, Avinash ji, we need your mail ID and your WhatsApp number. So request everyone to share your WhatsApp number and email ID if you want this detail. I'll request my team to send you. And for any query on any topic, if you are working with your child, you are willing to ask something, then you can of course reach out to me on my mail ID, surabhi.sahai@brightminds.org. So with this, we close the webinar. Thank you so much for joining with me today. We will meet next Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. IST again. Thank you so much.